So you're in a meeting and someone asks you a question and you know the answer, you just can't get it out. Your brain is flooded with ideas, and when it does finally come out, it's messy. It's disjointed, disorganized. This is not an issue of knowledge. This is an issue of sorting. I'm going to give you two tools today that are going to help you think clearly on the fly. They're going to help you take all of that information that's stored in your brain, all of those ideas that came up, and put them into a framework that your audience is going to be able to understand. You can do this pretty quickly. It takes a little bit of practice. And look, you need to do this because if you're asked the question and all this information just starts pouring out of your mouth, you're rambling probably. We have another video on rambling, so check that out. But basically the point there is you need to come to the point, get to the point right away. Know what your point is before you start talking, because you need to be understood. You need to sound confident so that people will listen to you. You need to be understood quickly because it's probably a work thing and everybody needs to get back to work and needs to be productive. And they don't have time nor the desire to sit around and listen to you, or you know how it is, anyone just go on a tangent about all these different things and not really make any sense. Like, I've been there, I've done that. It's about thinking while you're talking, and this is not a good idea. We need to learn to think faster. So again, I got a couple of tools for you to help you sort through all that and get to it pretty quick. Because the problem is we're thinking, we're organizing, we're speaking kind of all at the same time. Plus maybe we're a little nervous. And so all of that leads to disaster. It leads to overload. It leads to, at best, sounding completely disorganized, and then your audience being lost and losing track of what's going on. You don't want to do that. And sometimes what we do to compensate for that, we keep talking, we say more, or maybe you're thinking, well, I'm losing the audience. I need to get more animated. I need to start, waving my hands, and maybe I need to get louder. Maybe I need to yell. That is not the answer. You also want to be careful of backing yourself into a corner. When you start rambling and saying things, you're not always totally thinking about what you're saying. You're saying the first thing that comes to your head because you're actually thinking about, well, what's the real answer to this question? And so you want to prevent yourself from backing yourself into a corner, saying something you don't mean, saying something that's untrue. So again, the challenge here is to sort first, speak second. Okay, so I've got two tools for you that you can use to very quickly get your brain in some order so that you can provide this answer, this information to your audience. This is much easier to do, of course, when you have time to prepare a presentation. If you know the questions ahead of time, if you know the issues ahead of time that you want to address, then you put them into a format that is easily understood. It's much, much harder when you're in the moment. But again, here's a couple tools with a little bit of practice that will help you determine what is the most important thing that you need to say in the moment, right? So you want to get to the answer and don't waste time. So the first tool is called the 1-2-3 method. 1-2-3 method, okay? And this one and the second tool just give you enough structure to start with, so you kind of have something to hang everything on. You know where you're going, your audience knows where you're going. That's maybe as important as you knowing where you're going, is that your audience can follow you. If you tell them sort of what's happening, then they'll get it. So the 1-2-3 method is pretty simple. The first thing is you start with that main idea. What is the main issue, main problem? What's the answer, sort of the main answer to this question? Number two is come up with two reasons why, or two supporting pieces of information, two of something. And then the third step is to give an example, or just a conclusion to the whole thing. So, someone might ask in a meeting, hey, why isn't this project finished? It was supposed to be finished a week ago. And you're sitting there, sweating because you know this too. And you have a whole bunch of reasons why it's not being finished. Not all of them, maybe you can say in public, but you kind of start waffling, or again, thinking while you're talking. You go, well, you see, we have some time commitment issues, and John over there, well, he's overworked, and Sally, she hasn't quite been trained properly, and that all may be true, but that's not really answering the question, is it? The answer is, if you apply this tool, the first problem is, the number one problem is, we're doing too much at once. What are two reasons or two supports for that? Well, we don't have things prioritized properly, and our people are spread too thin. And so the result of that is that nothing gets completed. That's number three, right? That's what happens as a result of what we're doing. We're doing too much at once, no priorities, we're spread thin, so nothing gets done. All right, that's one tool. That's called the 1-2-3 method. It takes a little bit of practice. Start thinking in those terms. You'll start doing it more and more regularly. The second tool is called the top three method. And so instead of coming up with this one main point, you're still actually doing that. You're just projecting it in a different way. The top three method is, what are the top three most important things maybe that I could say about this topic? So the question again comes in, why isn't this project finished? And you're thinking, and very quickly, you got to go, well, we don't have enough manpower, the project's not prioritized well, and we don't have clear objectives. There's your top three things, okay? And so you give that three things as an answer, right? Not enough manpower, project not prioritized, no clear objectives. And so then questions will arise from that, or they'll ask you to explain. So, but now you have a structure, right? Now, okay, not enough manpower. Let's talk about that for a little while. Not enough manpower, and you kind of do the same thing. What are three things that I could say about not enough manpower? Or maybe you go to the 1-2-3 method. What's the main problem? Well, not enough manpower. Here's two or three examples of that, right? And then here's what happened as a result. The project's not prioritized well. Okay, great. Here's a couple of reasons or examples of that. And then here is the result. We don't have clear objectives. But here's a couple of examples of that or reasons, right? And so it's not hard to do. Again, just takes practice. It's knowing that that's available to you to do rather than just it's all swirling in your mind and you have to get to it. A lot of speakers kind of do something like this. A lot of speech makers. I always think of Winston Churchill. He's one of my favorites. You know, he's giving this speech in World War II, the beginning of World War II. There, Britain's being attacked by Germany, and he just gets on the radio and he says, "We will never surrender." Right? He says that over and over. So there's a whole thing about repetition, and we'll talk about that maybe in another video. But the idea here is he has one main point: we will not surrender. And he says, "We will fight on the beaches, we will fight on the landing grounds, we will fight in the fields," you know, this kind of thing. And so all those are his examples. This is what we're going to do. We will not surrender. Here's the supporting reasons or supporting examples. So he's kind of, using the 1-2-3 method there. And again, he'll do this repetition so that the audience can hear it. You may not do repetition in a meeting. You don't have time for that. But in a speech, it works really great. But the point is, Churchill got it. He knew what the one major point was he wanted to make, and he just gave a bunch of supporting reasons for that. You can do that too. Okay, so why is this valuable to you? Again, if you are able to apply these tools on the fly, which again might take a little bit of practice, you stop over explaining things, you stop wandering or rambling or what we sometimes call chasing rabbits. You get started quickly and logically. So the more you do this, the better at it you'll be, just like riding a bike or do anything else that you do. The more you practice this, the better at it you will be, and the more natural it'll feel and sound to you. At first, it's going to sound or feel it's kind of strange and difficult. You will feel more confident because now all of this swirling mass of information is being harnessed down into some kind of logical form. And so you'll feel confident and comfortable saying, "Oh, I know what to do. I'm going to do the top three things about this," or "I'm going to do the 1-2-3 method," or some other tool. There's other tools out there. And so you feel more confident. And when you feel more confident, the audience feels that you're more confident. And number two, the audience, because you have structure, will be able to follow it, and they will understand you, and they will respect you and respond to you. And so again, you will be heard, your ideas won't get lost, and you will build credibility. So listen, folks, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, please like and subscribe. Go ahead and check the description for the link to the download to the free track little guidebook. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.